So today is 6th of March, and we have Indian Express page, explained page. So there are three important articles on this page. One is methane set, one is fourth mass coral reef bleaching event soon, and another is why Lakshadweep base INS Jaitu matters. So first we'll read this methane set article. So a satellite that will name and shame the worst methane emitters on Earth. So a methane set, a washing machine sized satellite that will track and measure methane emissions on global scale, was launched aboard by SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket from California on Monday. So, one important thing to remember is the satellite has been launched by Falcon 9 rocket, which is designed by SpaceX of Elon Musk. So, why track methane emissions? Methane is the most widespread greenhouse gas after carbon dioxide. Its atmospheric concentration has more than doubled in the last couple of centuries. This increase is responsible for 30% of climate warming since the Industrial Revolution. Over a period of 20 years, methane is about 80 times more potent at global at warming than carbon dioxide, according to UN Environment Program. By the way, United Nations Environment Program is based in Kenya, Nairobi. Methane also contributes to the formation of ground level ozone, exposure to which could be contributing to a million premature deaths every year, according to a 2022 report. It is crucial to cut methane emissions from their main source, fossil fuel operations, which account for about 40% of all human caused methane emissions. The objective of Methane Set is to help achieve this goal. So, what is Methane Set? The entity behind Methane Set is the Environmental Defense Fund, a US based non profit environmental advocacy. EDF partnered with Harvard University, the Smithsonian Astrophysical Observatory, and the New Zealand Space Agency to build the satellite. That means NASA is not involved, European Space Agency is not involved, ISRO is not involved, and many other renowned space agencies are not involved. So, Methane Set will orbit the Earth 15 times a day. So that means it must have been in the lower Earth orbit. Uh, will orbit the Earth 15 times a day, monitoring the oil and gas sector. It will generate data that will show how much methane is coming from where, who is responsible, and are those emissions going up or down over the time. So EDF had said this in a statement. Methane sets data will be made public for free in near real time. So this is a good initiative. This will allow stakeholders and regulators to take action to reduce methane emissions. So where does methane set score? Historically, tracking the source of methane emissions and measuring them has presented a challenge. Satellites that can provide high resolution data can often only scan specific pre targeted sites. Others can examine larger areas and detect large emitting events, but not smaller sources that accounts for the majority of emissions in many, if not most regions, EDF said. Due to these limitations, global methane emissions are about 70% higher than levels reported by a national government, according to report by the International Energy Agency. So IEA, by the way, India is not the full member of IEA. India has applied, but is still not a full member of International Energy Agency. Methane Set is expected to fix this problem. It is equipped with a high resolution infrared sensor and a spectrometer, and can track differences in methane concentration as small as 3 parts per billion in atmosphere, which is phenomenal, which enables it to pick up smaller emission sources than the previous satellites. MethaneSat also has a wide camera view of about 200 km by 200 km, allowing it to identify larger so-called super emitters. According to a report in the New York Times, the new satellite is also designed to track releases over time to see whether they are increasing or decreasing and by how much. The collected data will be analyzed using cloud computing and artificial intelligence technology developed by Google. The company is a mission partner and will be made public through Google's Earth Engine platform, the New York Times report said. So this was about methane set, and another important article that we will read today, that is about the coral bleaching. So what NOAA, that is National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, that is a US based organization, it has said that fourth mass coral bleaching event that it can happen very soon. So the world is on the verge of the fourth mass coral bleaching event that could see wide swaths of tropical reefs die, including parts of Australia's Great Barrier Reef. The US NOAA has said marine biologists are on high alert following months of record breaking ocean heart fueled by climate change and the El Nino climate pattern. It's looking like the entirety of the southern hemisphere is probably going to bleach this year, said ecologist Derek Menzillo, the coordinator of NOAA's Coral Reef Watch, which serves as the global monitoring authority on coral bleaching risk. So, this southern hemisphere, this again raises a debate of global south. So, this is also an issue. We are literally sitting on the cusp of the worst bleaching event in the history of the planet, he said. Triggered by heat stress, coral bleaching occurs when corals expel the colorful algae living in their tissues. Without these helpful algae, the corals became pale and are vulnerable to starvation and diseases. Coral bleaching can be devastating for the ocean ecosystem as well as fisheries and tourism based economies that depend on healthy, colorful reefs to attract scuba divers and snorkelers. The last global mass coral bleaching event ran from 2014 to 2017, during which near time the Great Barrier Reef lost nearly a third of its corals. Previous global bleaching event occurred in 2010 and 1998. So, for an event to be deemed global, widespread bleaching must occur in the three ocean basins, the Atlantic, Pacific, and the Indian Ocean. Scientists assess sea surface temperature data and satellite imagery to determine whether reef pixels are passing key thresholds of bleaching. So, to merit a global mass bleaching event, a certain percentage of reef pixels need to reveal a level of heat stress in each ocean basin. So, this was about this article of coral reef bleaching. Another important article is why Lakshadweep base INS Jaitu matter. So, this is you need to study this that India has built uh, INS Jaitu on the Lakshadweep and on which island. Okay, let me read it also. On Wednesday, the naval detachment Minicoy will be commissioned as okay on the Minicoy Island. So Minicoy Island is an important island. I think so. 8-degree channel separates other Lakshadweep islands from Minicoy Island. So this is an important and 9-degree channel. If I'm not, if I'm sure that which separates. No, no, no. 1 second. If we go northern from equator, then degrees will increase. So Maldives and Minicoy Islands are separated by 8 degree, and Minicoy and Lakshadweep are separated by 9 degree, and no, Andaman and Nicobar are separated by 10 degree channel. So okay, so this is enough. And one another important island is mentioned here, Agalega Island, that is a Mauritius island, which is part of Africa in the Western Indian Ocean region. So this is all about the Indian Express explained page. So we'll meet on tomorrow.